From creating simple school projects in iMovie, to watching amazing films in the cinema made by professional software, video editing surrounds us, and it is a great skill to develop. However, the problem for those who want to learn video editing is that professional editing software is very expensive. Prices can range from $300 to $900 for programs such as Adobe, Sony Vegas Pro, Final Cut Pro, and so on. And while pirated versions do exist, poor attempts at installation may result in contracting a virus onto your computer. But don't worry, there is still a plausible solution. Through mobile editing programs, learning how to edit is still possible. Not to mention, many apps are free and contain relatively cheap in-app purchases that are at most $10. Suggested apps include VideoStar for iOS and All-Light Motion for Android. Although computer software is typically better, these are examples that I created of what you can accomplish on your mobile device as a reference. And if that doesn't convince you enough, this entire tutorial was made on my mobile device. Now, let's get on with the basics. For this tutorial, I'll be using VideoStar since it is one of the more popular mobile programs, but the tutorial can still be followed with the following mobile apps. And remember, it is important to acknowledge that every program has their own distinct interface. It is important to explore and play around with the program to adapt to your new editing environment. When you open the program of your choice, enter any image or clip that you would like to use to edit. For example, I will be importing a square. Now it is time to set your first keyframe. A keyframe marks the beginning or end of a transition. You'll be using keyframes all the time when it comes to transitions. Set your keyframe wherever you would like your transition to start. Then, set your second keyframe directly at the end of the clip. And note that the distance between your keyframes affects how fast a transition goes. The shorter the keyframe distance, the faster the transition. Now, adjust the keyframe to your desired transition. You can make it spin, change in size, or even change its appearance. I'm going to make it spin. Now you've completed the first part of your transition. To complete your transition, go to the second clip. I'm using a hexagon. Set your first keyframe at the very beginning of the clip. Make sure the appearance of the first keyframe matches the same format of the second keyframe. For example, since my first clip turned counterclockwise, I'm going to make the hexagon turn counterclockwise. Good job! You completed your first transition, but it looks a bit rough. This is because you need to add a graph to your transition. A graph is an editing tool that manipulates the speed and the movement of your transition. Depending on which app you're using, most apps give you pre-made graphs, or they allow you to create your own. Typically for smoother transitions, this is the graph that should be used. As you can see, the graph gradually moves upward, increasing its speed. Then, the second half of the graph moves downward. Here are some examples of graphs affecting a clip's transition. Now that you got the basic idea of transitions, it is now your turn.